Right, just imagine this scenario. You're about 5'5", smell like piss and live in a box under the stairs. You've got a beer belly the size of Kansas and a face that looks like a bruised foot. If a girl matched with you on Tinder, she'd break her phone. Your last girlfriend was a hairless goat who couldn't go at least 5 minutes without embarrassing herself. And yet suddenly, by some divine miracle, you managed to get engaged to Angelina Jolie. Or whoever you young people find attractive. Is Miley Cyrus still cool? Am I this out of touch? But yeah, you don't ask questions. You're just relieved that someone will finally look you in the eyes without getting sick on the carpet. But you would then think you might try everything in your power to, keep them around. And 3 years into the marriage, Angelina, or Anna Montana, asks for some money for some groceries. Just so she doesn't have to keep eating out of the recycling bin. And she desperately rifles through it looking for something to put on her plate, whether it be a few cartons of 6-week-old milk or the remains of Hazalu's career. After all this, is it any wonder she might get fed up and walk out? This is what happened at Newcastle United. Rafa Benitez has left the club. Why? Why do you think? This is a Champions League winning manager. He deserves to be dining at the top table, not spending 7 hours on the phone trying to persuade West Brom to let them use Solomon Aranda for another 6 months. Not trying to make wingers out of Kennedy or Christian Atsu. Players that, if they were at any of his other clubs, would instead be serving out sloppy joes in the canteen. Not trying to make a midfield out of Mo Diame and Ki Sung Young, which is like trying to make a sandwich out of gravel and dead skin. I just don't understand the regime at Newcastle. Yes, fair enough, we get it. Mike Ashley doesn't like to spend money, except when he no doubt visits Greg's, then he'll buy the whole shop. But he'll give £80 million to Steve McLaren, which is like trusting a toddler with a credit card. Is it any wonder that money was spunked up the wall on Chancellor Mbemba and Florian Thauvin? Although, to be fair, he's actually turned out a great player. Just spent most of his time on Tyneside addicted to the mirror. Lad, it wasn't an audition for Geordie Shore, alright? This is hands down the worst Newcastle squad I have ever seen in the Premier League era. It's the byproduct of 12 years of mismanagement and utter neglect. They're hard-working players, but show me one that would have made the Newcastle team under Sir Bobby Robson all those years ago. Well, maybe Fabian Schär, considering Bobby was forced to work with Titus Bramble for some reason. Football's answer to a goddamn migraine. It's a terrible squad. Like Benitez was working with Ronaldo 3 years ago. No wonder he's getting fed up having to spend summer after summer searching down the local skip for a goddamn centre forward. Like, what are Newcastle gonna do without Benitez? Because I can tell you for a fact, they are not getting a better replacement than him. Christ above. I mean, just look at the current favourites for the job. But wait, no, actually, there is some good news. Sky Sports are reporting that Newcastle are heavily considering a man who once got to a Champions League final. A man who once finished second in the league, reached another cup final. Oh lads, who's this? Carlo Ancelotti? Nah, Avram Grant. The lad who finished bottom of the league twice and looks like something out of Star Trek. Right, so Mikel Arteta is 5-1 for some reason. Lads, he turned out Arsenal, his former club, to remain Guardiola's protege last summer. I don't think he's going to give up winning the Premier League to lead Paul Dummett by the hand into the goddamn championship. Jose Mourinho at 7-1. If this takeover happens, who knows? But if, in the more likely scenario, the whole deal falls through, you'd have a better chance of finding a Love Island contestant reading a book. Alan Pardew 10-1. I'm guessing Newcastle fans would rather eat their own feet. Gary Monk 8-1. I mean, the only way Gary Monk should be at Newcastle next season is the same as everyone else, with a pie in his mouth and sitting in the goddamn stands, because there's not a hope he belongs anywhere near the dugout. Mark Hughes 16-1. Imagine replacing Rafa Benitez with Mark Hughes. It's almost as bad as replacing Sir Bobby Robson with Graham Souness. Roy Keane 14-1. Again, one of the most hated individuals at St James's Park. I mean, he once had that entire stadium singing in unison that he did naughty things with his dog. So I really doubt that one. Who else is there? Nigel Pearson, Tony Pulis, Gary Megson. I mean, Newcastle fans would rather have Anton Deck. Well, actually, maybe just Deck. You'd be too afraid Ant would run over someone on the way to training. Fair play to Rafa though, he did a terrific job in Newcastle. He essentially took 3 years out of competing at the top level. Like, he didn't have to stain his CV with a relegation and a year in the championship. He could easily have found a job at the top table. I'm sure he'd have been in the running for jobs at Arsenal, Bayern Munich, and who knows, could have even managed Spain at the World Cup, but he stayed single. But no, he chose to bypass those lucrative opportunities to stick it out with the likes of Matt Ritchie and Christian Atsu. It's remarkable he stayed this long. 3 and a bit years. I mean, to put it into context, that is the longest he stayed at any club since leaving Liverpool nearly 10 years ago. Why not give him money? Why not help Newcastle become competitive? Football fans have short memories, and I'm not saying that I've completely forgiven you, Mike, but you could have earned a bit of redemption in their eyes had you just funneled some proper money into Rafa's transfer kitty. You could have had the club return to the top 6 under him. Honestly, you had the tools. You just didn't buy the goddamn players. Like, you literally cannot blame Rafa for walking. The club is just about keeping their head above water, just happy to finish 17th every year. But lads, I have news for you. If you aim to just stay up every single season and no more, that tactic is not going to last very long. Without Rafa, Newcastle will be halfway down the championship alongside the likes of Blackburn Rovers. I have absolutely no doubt about that. Give another manager these tools, right? Give Tim Sherwood, DeAndre Yedlin at right back, and Hoselu up front. The club would be down by Christmas Day, and knowing Tim Sherwood, the stadium would probably be up in flames. Lads, unless a takeover happens, the future is seriously bleak for Newcastle fans. It just is. Nobody should be shocked with this news. I think the Geordies knew this day was coming. Things weren't right. You could tell Rafa was uneasy with the way things were happening. He hadn't signed a new deal and had a week left on his contract. It was pretty obvious he was going to walk. It's essentially like being given the silent treatment from the missus for about 6 weeks. You just know it'll be a matter of time before you're back to romancing your left hand. They say there's going to be protests. Yeah, because they always work, don't they? In reality, it's probably just going to be 3 old fellas by the side of the road with a dodgily misspelt sign.
Down with this sort of thing. Careful now.
I have to say though, I do think people are being a bit too over dramatic when they say that the club died.
We all know who to blame. Rafa was a beacon of hope for the club, the light at the end of the tunnel, and the one who could maybe bring success to the club. Seems someone didn't want that. Heartbroken. Thank you for everything that you have done, Rafa Benitez, for my football club. It won't be the same without you.
I mean, it just kind of reads like an obituary, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, this was the worst possible thing that could have happened in Newcastle, but the club didn't die a death yesterday, alright? Lads, the club's been dead for f***ing years. Probably ever since they gave Sir Bobby Robson the chop. Since then, it's been pretty much nothing but interminable dross. Mediocre football, getting pummeled off Sunderland, 2 relegations, and the existence of James f***ing Perch. Actually, no, to be fair, Perch wasn't too bad, but you get my point still. Relax, alright? The walls of the stadium aren't suddenly going to cave in now that Rafa is gone. Fans won't suddenly start scraping out their own eyeballs. It's still the same players, it's still the same ground. But yeah, I mean, if the takeover doesn't happen, this club will probably be swallowed up by yet another relegation. Anyway, that's the end of the video, lads. It was just a quick one on Rafa Benitez. Some of you have been calling for it. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's a joke that he's gone? Do you think he was right to leave? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, talk to you in a while.